And this is why equal playing time matters far more than many coaches realise. Not because every player is equally skilled, and not because winning doesn't matter, but because opportunity is part of development. Take two 11-year-olds. One is the best player on the team, the other is average. Who gets the most opportunities? Who gets the most game time? Who gets the best coaching? Who gets the most attention? In most youth sports, the answer is obvious: the best player. The problem is that the best player today is not necessarily the best player tomorrow, and this is one of the biggest mistakes coaches make in youth sport. They confuse current performance with future potential. They're not the same thing. In fact, they can be completely different things. A coach sees a player dominating at 11 years old and assumes they're the future. But what if that player is simply more physically mature than everyone else? What if they're taller, stronger, faster? What if they've simply had more coaching? What if they've simply been playing longer? What if they've reached puberty earlier? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Youth sport is full of players who look exceptional at 11 and just good at 17. And it's also full of players who looked ordinary at 11 and exceptional at 17. The problem is that most coaches only see what's in front of them. They're looking at a snapshot, not a trajectory. And trajectory is often what matters most. Consider two athletes. Athlete A is the star, fastest in the county at 11, selected for every development program, starts every game, receives constant praise. Athlete B is average, gets less attention, less game time, less opportunity, has to fight for everything. At 11, athlete A looks like the future. But what happens next? Athlete A rarely experiences setbacks, rarely gets challenged, rarely has to adapt. Athlete B learns resilience, learns patience, learns how to improve, learns how to respond to disappointment. By the age of 16, athlete B may have developed better habits, stronger motivation, greater coachability, and a deeper understanding of what it takes to improve. Meanwhile, athlete A may have plateaued, and this happens far more than people realize. One of the hidden dangers of early success is that it can actually slow development, not because success is bad, but because struggle is often where growth occurs. The athlete who never struggles never has to evolve. The athlete who struggles constantly is forced to evolve. This is why many elite performers have stories of rejection, setbacks, deselection, or being overlooked. The adversity becomes part of their development. Now let's look at something talent scouts are increasingly paying attention to: rate of improvement. Imagine one athlete who ranks 20th at age 11, 12th at age 13, 5th at age 15, and 2nd at age 17. Now imagine another athlete who ranks 1st at age 11, 1st at age 13, 5th at age 15, and 15th at age 17. Which athlete would you rather invest in? Most coaches would have selected the second athlete at age 11. Most long-term development coaches would be fascinated by the first. Because future success often isn't about who is best right now. It's about who is improving fastest, the rate of improvement. The first athlete is moving, the second athlete is standing still. And that's why good talent scouts ask different questions. Not who is the best today, but how quickly do they learn? How much have they improved in the last year? How do they respond to setbacks? How coachable are they? What physical tools are still developing? How much room do they have left to grow? What is their ceiling? These questions focus on potential, not performance. And there is a huge difference between current performance and development trajectory. A coach sees two 11-year-olds. One is the best player today, the other improves by 20% every year. The first child often gets selected. The second child often becomes the better adult athlete. This is one reason talent identification is so difficult. The players who look best now are not always the players with the highest ceiling, and ceiling matters a lot. The child who has always scored 80% of their shots might simply be maintaining their level. The child who has improved from 20% to 80% in 8 months may be revealing something far more important: their development curve, their ability to learn, their capacity to adapt, their willingness to improve. Those are stronger indications of future success than current performance. And yet youth sport repeatedly rewards the finished product over the developing one. Coaches naturally ask, who helps us win next weekend? Development-minded coaches ask, who might be exceptional in 3 years? Those are completely different questions. The first rewards maturity, the second rewards potential. The first rewards certainty, the second requires vision. And this is where many young athletes get overlooked, because growth potential is often hidden. It's hidden inside the player who isn't physically developed yet, the player who is learning rapidly, the player who responds well to coaching, the player who keeps coming back time and time again after disappointment, the player who improves month on month, year on year, the player nobody notices because they're too busy watching the current stars. The irony is that the future elite athlete is often standing right in front of us. We just don't recognize them yet, because we're looking at who is winning today instead of who is becoming better tomorrow. The question every coach should ask isn't, who is my best player, or who are my best players? It's, which of my players is improving the fastest? Because future champions are often identified not by where they are, but by how fast they're moving. And this is why equal playing time matters far more than many coaches realize. Not because every player is equally skilled, and not because winning doesn't matter, but because opportunity is part of development. If one player gets twice the minutes, twice the touches, and twice the experience, they are receiving a developmental advantage. Coaches often say, the better players deserve more game time. But this creates a dangerous cycle. The best players get more opportunities. The extra opportunities accelerate their development. The less developed players get fewer opportunities. Their development slows down. The coach then points to the widening gap as proof that they made the right decision, but when in reality, they may have helped create it. This doesn't mean you should never select your strongest team. There are times when winning matters. League finals, regional championships, national tournaments. Of course coaches will field their strongest side, but developmental-minded coaches understand that over the course of a season, every player must have equal meaningful opportunities to play. If not in the top league, then in another league. If not in the league, then in friendlies. If not in friendlies, then in cup matches. Because the goal isn't simply to identify talent that's in front of you, it's to develop it. And you cannot develop potential from the bench. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.